Okay, Nicole, apparently the video doesn't have audio, so at least after the crash, so I went to yours, so let's just look here. Okay, so you fell in love with the pen tool, and maybe you have a Wacom tablet. To do sketches is fine, but by the time you get into the computer, you need to be blocking stuff in. If stuff is a rectangle, make it a rectangle. This is fine for using with a pen, but you're not using a pen. Okay, you're getting into the computer, so it's pretty hard to tell what's going on. You got a lot of this cross-hatching going on, which I don't know whether that's a pattern. I don't know whether it's meant to imply a gray or a color, because there's no way, if you're just using a pen tool, to indicate a solid color. We kind of have the same thing going on back here, where you were saying, well, this is a color. And that's fine. You can do that with just hatching, diagonal lines one direction. That's fine when you're sketching. But by the time we get to the computer, writing by hand is very inefficient and it's hard to read. Doing sketches like this, it doesn't really help you. Besides, you have essentially the same three screens for all three of your platforms. You haven't really solved any problems. Now we're getting down to the wire, and this was the week for you to fix stuff up. I don't mind what you have going on with the sidebar on the desktop and on the tablet. Okay, a lot of times tablet is used landscape, but if you want to do portrait, vertical, that's fine. But we haven't really solved any of the problems besides these two pages. A login doesn't count. I don't know whether that's a purse or it's a padlock. I don't remember what the purpose of your... Oh yeah, it's a lock. Okay. Okay, so you better jump in. I don't know what's going on for your design overall. Please make sure that your aspect ratio is correct with the height. It looks like it's okay for tablet and for phone. I just want to make sure that you're not making that up. Okay, good. Kiara. Again, all the rest of you guys, you were all in the video, and the video dropped out. Or the audio dropped out. So I went through all this stuff. Okay, right. Okay, Pet Pals. Okay, so you had a cool little logo. You got the two P's. Pet Pals, I get it. But in a phone, okay, I'm assuming this is phone. First, check your aspect ratio, height to width. It looks too fat for a phone. And don't make that up when you're on a phone. You gotta have an actual aspect ratio. Second thing is use your title bar for a title, not for a logo. Get that logo out of there. Third thing is watch your type sizes. Here we have medium, here we have giant, here we have medium, here we have teeny. Typically, I would say virtually always, in the app world, in the web world, we are using sans serif typefaces. A serif face, especially when it gets small and reversed like that, it just gets chewed up. It's really hard to read. I would get rid of the little dog and cat back here. Too hard to read. I don't know what these headings are. Okay, so if you're using for iPhone, there's a picker, okay, where you can choose 6, 7, 8, 15, 30, whatever. I don't know if you're designing for Android or what, but you want to make these look a little more efficient or official. And it's really easy to do. Just go get the Mercury Intermedia. Resource. It's free and legal. Okay, the thing I pointed out here is you have this giant header area. That's 1/3 of your entire vertical space is chewed up by this huge logo. That logo really, the logo on a website, it only needs to be as big as that word right there, history, okay, little teeny. And then put your navigation up here. I know you put the little pets over here because you wanted consistency design-wise, but I came here to find Fido. And yet this map is only about 1/4 of the screen space. And I'm going to have to zoom up really tight to see if it's this house right here. Whereas if you use the space a little more efficiently and make the map that big, now it's over twice as large. That's what I came to the page for, and it's easier for me to find. If this is a profile page for Fluffy, pretend this is a circle. Why not make Fluffy's picture nice and big? And then flush left all of his descriptive type right there. Easy, ready, set, go. Easy to do. Keep stuff off the bottom. You don't want anything bleeding off. It doesn't intend to be. On a watch, I'm okay with you to do a watch. I think I told you that. That's okay. But your space is at even more of a premium. I don't have an Apple Watch. I don't anticipate that I ever will. So I'm not sure whether they actually put a logo on every page, on every screen. But I kind of doubt it because space is even more at a premium, even more. And we're using, again, just about half of the vertical space for virtually nothing. So if I want a map, man, let's fill the screen up with a map. It's already only 1.5 inches square. Okay, I like this thing, and I understand why you have the logo here. Okay, because I don't know what that is unless I see the logo. But in this case, I like the little dog being filled up a little bit. Okay, happiness level. Okay, I see profile. Yeah, a lot of issues here. Okay, you got 2 title bars. Okay, don't use a serif typeface. Get the logo out of there. Put happiness level up at the top. And if he's happy, why isn't he yellow? And maybe that's bad jujus or bad connotations. No, that's kind of cool. Vets nearby. Why 4-star rating, not 5? 5 is the conventions people are used to. That's the way we should probably go. So good start, Nicole. Just think about those things. All right. Jerry Lynn, you're the one that emailed me. So, yeah, and you have lots of great... Now, cancel. I got this thing going on with Acrobat. Okay, so you got some great things going on here. This is the management app, right? Which I really like. You have kind of an Old West vibe with a very heavy slab serif. And then you have little Victorian touches like the submit forward arrow kind of thing. I don't understand the concept behind I'm an apartment manager, so therefore I'm in the Old West. But it's kind of fun. So if you want to go that way, okay. It's typically good to have an idea of concept before you go in. Otherwise, you're not designing, you're decorating. You're just painting flowers on the wall rather than designing the wall. So I like what you got going here. You tap category, all these guys drop down. Now I don't know if you're designing for iOS, Apple, but their default for list items is 34 point for type. Wait a minute, that's default size. It might not be for list. But anyway, and then it's 88 points in between. The reason I say that is this might be getting a little bit small, especially where it's all caps. All caps is harder to read than cap and lowercase. So it might be a little small. I'm not sure about the drop shadow, but it doesn't really bother me. It's just a little design thing. Okay, I like how you're forcing me to march through. I got to do one, then the other, then the other. This actually makes sense because it is sequential. Okay. 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 Okay, so now we have our payment. We actually have a different typeface for this, but it doesn't matter. It feels like it's related. You made it nice and big. I don't know what this says down here. It's super light. I'm a little confused by the PayPal and the credit cards. Which one am I using? PayPal or credit card? Or am I using a credit card via PayPal? Now, that might be a their thing. I've used PayPal for my websites and businesses. I know they have their own buttons, but you can also design a button. I was just thrown by that. I didn't know which one it was. Looks like it might be a credit card with PayPal. Okay, the little frilly typeface, I really like how it harmonizes well with the Old West slab serif here. It feels friendly, where this feels like a sheriff with a badge and jingling spurs. The problem with it is that the thin strokes are so thin that when they get reversed out, they disappear. And we kind of have the same thing with this arrow. Okay, the thin strokes are so thin that they disappear. And again, I don't, maybe that's okay. I like how your colors harmonize. I like how you're using these little icons in the background. They're subtle. They're there, but they're not screaming at me. So you've got, it really feels kind of nice. Make your red payment. Your header is kind of large. Submit your payment. Payment submitted. Thank you, done. I wonder if the word submitted, payment submitted, if that should go green, because this looks like an action page. I sit there and look at it and think, is this a big button? But I got other clues. I got saying thank you and done. Oh, that says submitted. So I have to read in order to understand that this is done. So you might think about a way, what if the whole page turns green? Or something, or you get some kind of flash or a badge saying, congratulations, you've paid your rent, or something. These are just minor things. I think overall, why would we need news if we're renting an apartment? Anyway, overall, it flows pretty nicely. This is so light down here where it says submit. I can't read it, but then I don't have to, right? I won't notice until about the 12th time through the app. Good, Jerry Lynn. Okay. So Hikaru. Okay, so yours, what I was saying about yours is that the design is nice, but it's very, very quiet. Excuse me. It's so quiet that it's hard to see anything. All the type is very light, and the lines are very light, and it's so hard to read. I don't know if you could hear that in that recording, but what I said is that your design is very, very quiet. The lines are very thin, the type is everything's very quiet, and I think maybe you need to be a little more assertive in your design. Make some type bigger, put some color in there. See, when I look at this, I say, wow! I'm interested in that. I'm not really a big fan of hot dogs, but hey, if I were, that's a great hot dog shot. I love it. This is exciting. These don't feel like anything's happening. They're very quiet. So what if this were red and that guy were yellow, or green since he's sick, and that guy were yellow, or put some color in there, or put a hot dog picture behind it, or something. Get some power in there, Hikaru. This is really great. I like this. Your pain. Your little spectrum thing here, even though it's not very pleasant. Okay, at least putting this on a dark color, it has a little more thump. It has a little more, bah, I'm here, I'm assertive. But these guys are very quiet. So I would consider put a background color in, or put a very, even a gradient like this, or something. You know, imagine that's a gradient that goes up and faces white, or something. Pictures of food, or it needs a little more power. It needs more strength. So don't be afraid. Push out a little bit, Hikaru. You're a very good designer, but you're very quiet. And I want you to push out a little bit more. Make your type a little bigger, a little stronger. Add some more assertive colors. Do an app for a kids game for ADHD kids. That means they're really energetic. Or do an app for a motorcycle gang. Hey, push yourself out a little bit more and be more. Okay? Even in this app.